This is Omid Fatemi. I first presented the components of effective teaching for deeper learning. We talked about the enablers of e-learning, what is happening today, which makes e-learning a better choice. We talked about how to design a better course, a better teaching and learning experience. We talked about how to implement active learning. Among all the things that we have mentioned about a better experience, I've selected 4 of them: active learning, gamification, and flipped classroom, and assessment, that I talked more about them in more details. I tried to compare different scenarios 2 by 2. The first scenario: is it better to have social learning or individual learning? We know that humans learn better when they are together, so we select social learning. The next comparison, we compare active learning versus passive learning. And again, we know that learners are not passive, and they are not just the recipient of information. They should be active to learn. So we select active learning. The next comparison is it good to have a method for all the students, just one method, a good method, an enhanced method, or to have different methods personalized for students, for every student? Of course, providing the flexibility for the students, it would be better, and so we select different methods and personalized methods. The next scenario would be: is it good to have 1 hour lecture, just lecturing, just talking by teacher and students listening, or to have 10-minute clips for teaching? Of course, we know that micro-learning helps to have a better remembering and the better learning experience, so we select bite-size content. The next comparison was about: is it good to have instructor-led training for deeper learning or learner-centered education? We know that there are different arguments, several arguments about these two. But in general, we know that if we use learner-centered education and classroom, this will enable students, this will enable learners to think critically, to try to understand, to make the meaning themselves. So we select learner-centered. Based on these scenarios, which were about 8 scenarios that we have discussed, I am going to express the future of learning. It would be social learning, would be active learning, would be based on gamification, is with personalization, with micro-learning and bite-sized content, with multimedia and immersive experience, with assessment and tracking for students, and learner-centered. So these are the future of learning and the way we think that it will make teaching more effective. The third session was how to design. We talked about the effective teaching, how to design a good course. We have talked that it is good to have an effective learning. We have a clear method. What is clear? Clear is to have community. We have to have learner-centered choices. We have learning elements, contents. We should have active learning, and we should have result-oriented with good instructional design. So community, learner, element, active, and results make clear. So we should have a clear teaching, and this would be effective teaching for better and for deeper learning. And the question is, how do we provide this clear teaching? Is it good to go for online? Is it good to go for in-person, face-to-face? To me, the question is not this. The question is how to make it clear. That's the question. we can use online methods, we can use in-person methods. And if we use both of them, blended learning, we gain much, we gain more, and we make a better experience, a joyful experience for students. So, for example, I suggest that we have a table, and the first column would be the features that we would like to implement in our course. The second column would be how to do it in online method, and the third column would be how to do it in person. Our workshop is about ecstasy of e-learning, so I try to fill the second part, and the third column I leave it to yourself. Just to give you an example, I just fill the first row. So for community formation, we have messengers, we have forum, wiki, live classes in online learning, and in person we have group works, projects, team projects. So these are the implementation of community. For learner centers in online, we have the things that anytime, anywhere, anybody, any speed, they can access to the information and learn. For elements, we have variety of contents, PDF, PowerPoint, video, simulations. For active learning, we have assignments, online assignments. We have a forum that they have to post in the forum and discuss something. We have online quizzes, workshops. For engagement, we could use gamification techniques in online learning very well. I think it is much more than in-person method. For personalized, we have LMS. We can have a smart LMS customized based on the login of the student or the teacher and bring the content personalized for the user. For assessment in online learning, we have complete tracking of everything. For immersive experience, we have virtual reality, simulation in online learning. And for flexibility, we have everything in the site. So the user could access to the system and use whatever he or she wants. So if you look at this, these things, if they planned correctly and they designed deliberately, then it will bring ecstasy for users, the joy for the users, and this will make everything working. So for active learning, I told you, you have 4 parts that I am going to talk about. Active learning, we talked about the learning based on activities. We presented the cone of experience of Edgar Dale. We presented 18 methods for active learning: self-introduction, clarification, pauses, reflection. I go faster, one-sentence summary, weekly journal, muddiest point, diagnosis assessment that could be done very good in online learning, formative assessment, pre-theoric institutions quiz, problem-based learning, project-based learning, wiki, glossary, peer assessment, brainstorming, agree-disagree table, discussion, and debate. So these 18 methods are good for active learnings, and most of them could be implemented very effectively in online learning. We talked about gamification, which we bring the joy to the experience of the users. And we talked about game elements, interactivity, instant feedback, progress indicators, time limits for something that will make more exciting, repetition in the game, and also simulation, role play game, and serious games. We talked about game components, levels, leaderboard, scoreboard, points, badges, rewards, and social interaction in the game. And then we talked about that these elements and these components could be implemented very effectively in online learning in an LMS. For example, LMS has a feature for restricting access. We can restrict access and make it game-based. We can gamify the course by restricting access for viewing, for getting awards. We can have conditional labels and badges, and we can have grade books. Everybody could see how he or she is progressing. We have a block of activity result in LMS. We have badges. We have badges based on activity or based on the grades or based on completing a course. We have activity completion blocks that shows who completed the activities, and everybody could see how he or she is progressing. We have progress bar. The next part was flipped classroom. The flipped classroom basically will bring joy, especially to the in-person part, to the face-to-face part of the classroom, in addition to the online part, that watching the videos and doing online activities. In traditional classroom, a teacher is talking and the student is listening. This is going on, and the students get frustrated. What is suggested that we put the video for the students before the class, and in the class we have discussions. We should record the lecture, assign videos as homework that they should see before the class, and use the class for the activities. So the lecture is done in home and the activities is done in class. And this is how it is happening. When they are together, they do activities together with the teacher, and when they are alone, they use lectures. We can do this in class with putting content on the LMS and then making activities for them before, during, or after the video. And we should have some kind of activities that they make them to engage to the content, and then we can have the class. It could be a synchronous class, either in person or online. And in class we can set a time for review, then for a formative diagnosis assessment before the discussion, and then the discussion, group class work, and then concluding the class. This is a sample clip that the students should watch before the class, and then during the class they should discuss with each other in groups and talk with the teacher and with the teaching assistants to work on the different part of the classwork. So what we talked is that new learning paradigm, like a student-centered and active-based lecture, is becoming the norm, and class in person is also there and should be used for collaboration, for enjoying place, for social connection. Online learning becomes competitive advantage for organizations, and technology-enhanced learning brings joy to the education. Community, learner-centered, learning elements, activity-based, result-oriented, clear method for teaching should be considered. Thank you very much for being with me for this workshop.